It's been said before, and I'm going to say it again. The Democratic Party has clearly lost its mind. The Democrats have clearly lost their minds. Now I don't know how to say this other than to tell you again. This is not some mere exaggeration. I'm not saying this just for the sake of saying it. The amount of mental illness that we are seeing. Mental illness. Actionable, institutionalizable mental illness is without peer. Ladies and gentlemen, I've never seen anything like this. There is such a level of desperation on the part of these people. I want you to not become concerned with answering every claim on their part, but recognize something which is even more important. They have nothing. They are at the end of their trajectory, the end of their life, the end of their moment, the end of... There is nothing there. You're going to see this absolute lunatic. This woman with the purple hair we'll talk about as well. We'll talk also tonight about what drones are happening. Do you think the drone story is over? Do you think that's just it? Do you know what they're going to plan next? We'll talk about that. And we'll talk about what we're going to do and how we must remain strong and firm and not budge from what we're seeing. So, ladies and gentlemen, get ready tonight for the show of shows. Let me also tell you tonight that I'm glad to tell you one thing. The new official Lionel Nation mug is here. Look at this. Look at this. Be the first on your block, the first in your neighborhood to get a load of this absolute work of art. The texture, the attention to detail is without peer. Look at this. Go right here merely to that information here on the YouTube channel and buy 1, 2, 3, 10, as many as you can for your friends and colleagues. Makes a great stocking stuffer and is fine for dad or grad. And yes, Mom, it makes julienne fries. Live from a freezing 25 degrees. Well, it feels like whatever. The ice, the sidewalks this evening, it was treacherous. A winter wonderland, snows, freezing. And I'm so glad to be with you tonight. Please understand something. We are winning. Please understand. But we must remain vigilant. We must remain absolutely 100% aware of what's going on. Don't think for a moment. Don't think that everything's cool, everything's gravy. It's not. It's not. Let me tell you something. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but beware and be ready for something awful and treacherous from these people. I'm going to say it again. These people have lost their minds, but there's one thing that they can do better than anyone, and that is to be treacherous and to show a level of ruthlessness that few people can put into perspective and understand. It's that simple. So, ladies and gentlemen, sit back, get ready, and I want to see your thoughts and comments, to see you as well as we begin this eve. But first, dear friends, let me remind you that there is a problem in this country right now that you cannot imagine. And I've talked to many people in the financial industries, people in the mortgage industries, and they are coming across more and more people who are absolutely being strangled by debt, cancerous metastatic debt. And I know people love to say sometimes, well, I don't have that. Well, a lot of people do. And especially the younger people and the Gen Zers and the millennials and all of that. So right now, if you or a loved one, or if you don't know what to do, if you figure, how do I get out of this? How do I begin? Let us start with this incredibly important news. Listen to this. New reports reveal that the average person has $8,674 in credit card debt. Plus, the total average consumer debt is a shocking $104,215 between mortgages, auto loans, student loans, credit cards, and unsecured loans. Unfortunately, without outside assistance, many will continue digging themselves deeper and deeper into the hole of debt. Now, I've advised and counseled friends and clients for years who want to take back control of individual debt about this secret weapon that has helped so many consolidate everything owed into one affordable monthly payment. They even helped negotiate a settlement agreement that will allow you to pay less than the total balance. Listen, they settled over $275 million in debt, and they've helped people become debt-free in an average of 28 months. I've had such an incredible experience referring clients and friends that I wanted to partner with them here and introduce their services to you, my loyal Lionel Nation family. If you want a helping hand to get out of debt, I absolutely, positively, and strenuously recommend booking a free consultation now by going to nodebtwithlionel.com. Look at the address. Once again, that's nodebtwithlionel.com. Use the link I've provided under the title. Listen to me. You can take control and learn how to get out of debt now. My friends, before we begin, it turns out that Lara Trump has made a decision on the open Senate seat. She's decided not to pursue this. For reasons that she makes somewhat clear, she says, no, I don't want to do this. I'm not interested in this. This is not the move for me right now. And I figure I understand completely, perfectly, why in the right mind she would ever want to do this. I don't, when people ask the question, what do you think about Lara Trump? I think she's fine. I think she did a pretty good job when it came to working with the RNC, and that's terrific. Now, that's it. I want to also say something, my friends, which is also critical for you to grasp, and I think to understand. This is what I'm thinking right now. Right now, there's a couple of things I'm concerned about. First and foremost is what's going to be happening specifically involving the election. Because I'm telling you, as I said tonight to our friends, we were having a nice little Christmas repast up the street. The city was absolutely awash with individuals online. The Democrats are going to do something to try to interrupt January the 6th. They are trying everything possible. They are unleashing this torrent, and they always have an organized and a rational, well, somewhat rational, kind of a message that they have choreographed and have all committed to memory. And one of the things I find fascinating is this latest issue and this latest fiend as exhibited by the following.
Even as we speak, what planet is that from? No, seriously, the Democrats are like the Addams family, and it's the couch at Animal House or the bar at Star Wars. You pick it. Oh my God! I guess that was. I thought it was going to be a.
How do they not know this? How do the Democrats not know this? How can someone actually? I'm asking a question here. I'm not trying to just merely be mean.
A good idea, right at one time.
I'm not trying to make fun of somebody. I'm not trying to just make fun merely of this. I'm asking a very simple question. How in the name of God does she do this? Now, you're probably thinking, okay, is this big? Well, let me show you an unretouched version of what this lunatic said. Watch very carefully.
And you know what? They got scared because President Musk told them, President Musk said, don't do it. Don't do it. Shut the government down.
Why do you think they do this? Why do you think? Ladies and gentlemen, Crypto Domini has this word. Now YouTube crashes instead of telling me I can't super chat. I don't know what the hell that's about. But by God, my friend, we're going to get to the bottom of that one. I thank you. What do you think this is about? What do you think? Now, here's the story. Somebody says, Jay Reader says, Steve Bannon is no beauty. What does that mean? What do you mean by that? What does that mean? Steve Bannon's not running for office. Steve Bannon is a commentator. Steve Bannon is facing his own particular lawfare problems. What do you mean by that? What are we supposed to do? What does that mean? He's no, whatever it is. Why? What does this mean? Jay Reader, tell us. Would you tell us what that means, please? Is it just because there's got to be a reason for this? This must mean something. Pot calling the kettle. What does that mean? What does that mean? Steve Bannon is... No, I'm serious. What does that mean? Are you saying that she's normal because he's weird looking? Can we follow through with something? Joe Reader says he's no handsome fellow. Jay Reader, did you miss this? Let me just be honest. Do you think, my friend, this is about him being handsome? She's out of her mind. Reader, did you understand this? Did you understand this? Did you understand this? Did you understand this? Gloria Hanley still upset about today. Tim Pool is not a bully. Gotta watch the whole thing. No, he is a big shot and a tough guy, and he wants to be real tough. Gloria, listen, we talked today about Tim Pool. He tore after some punk or whatever it was. His point was correct, but he sounds like a complete pendejo. Now, you know it and I know it. His whole shtick is this angry, fast-talking, whatever. It's a work. He comes across as a brute. He's got kind of a tough guy issue. He loves that. Now, remember, nobody is talking about the context. It's this faux, fake, over-the-top anger. LOL, I knew that would get a response. Well, you know what I'm going to do, Gloria? I'm not going to respond to you anymore. There, feel better. Now, here's what we need to do. We had something the other day which happened, which, of course, people are trying their best, including this Dr. Greer. Oh, my God. Pilgrim said she's Coco for Cocoa Puffs, Bats in the Belfry, etc. If anybody can look at her and honestly say that she is merely, that we're talking merely about her appearance, if you're honestly able to say, if that's what you're saying, you're not seriously a part of the conversation. If you're not saying, well, she's not, he's no looker either. Excuse me. This is this tit for tat kind of stuff. This is this thing where nobody's looking at the essence of it, okay? Our good friend Crypto says, wouldn't it be cool if the Greer dude would be challenged to a debate about the whistleblower drones, just like the Billy Carson guy got decrowned and is left to the challenge of an open debate after the Canadian guy ripped it. Wow. That would be something indeed. Let me tell you about Stephen Greer. Stephen Greer is this, he just comes out and just kind of makes stuff up. Another one too is, I've got news and I've got information from inside sources that there is a psychological operations involved, a psyops involving drones. And here's what's going to happen. These are man-made drones. They are not from outer space. And the reason for that is to create a psychological operation, a psyop, in order to cause great fear on the part of people. You will be told that there is nuclear, some type of a nuclear containment, nuclear information that they are looking for. That's why they are flying with lights on. This is part of a psyop. Okay, how does that work? I don't know, but that's what I've been told. And it's a psyop. And this psyop is going to be, yes, we know that. You keep saying that. I understand that. And here's the thing. Do you think anybody's going to care? But no. But here's one thing which is interesting. There is a reason. Why the government wants to do this, I don't understand. It's not a psyop. It's not a psyop. You see what I'm saying? It's not that. It's something else. This might be even more interesting. Listen to this. This is the great Senator Rand Paul.
The bill before us would grant law enforcement significant authority to intercept private electronic communications without consent. For example, the bill would allow the government to conduct dragnet surveillance of the phones innocent Americans traveling through U.S. airports as long as the government claims they are doing it to neutralize a drone. So in order to look at the information that might be coming to a drone, it may be that you capture all the information of everybody surrounding an airport or everybody who lives near an airport. Once you have all that data, what are the assurances that the government isn't looking at your data in addition to the data that may be related to flying the drone? This is not just about security. It's about unchecked government overreach. It's about capitalizing on fear and media-driven hysteria to jam through sweeping legislation that could violate the civil liberties of American people. Congress has a constitutional responsibility to serve as a check on the executive power, not as a rubber stamp for it. The federal government already has the power to deal with drones. The federal government already has the power to stop any drones that are in airspace around airports. The federal government already has the power to protect its air bases. So if there is a significant problem here, the Biden administration needs to come forward and let us know, who are these drones? Who's operating these drones? What is the federal government doing to protect either airports or bases from this? Instead, we are told by the Biden administration there is no threat to our national security. So let's first insist on truth and transparency from the Biden administration before offering up legislation that is feel-good, pat somebody on the back and say, oh, we've done something about drones. We are strong on drones. Congress has a constitutional responsibility to serve as a check on executive power, not as a rubber stamp. We owe it to the American people to demand compelling justification, meaningful safeguards, and full transparency before granting any new surveillance authorities. We are a nation of laws, not fear, not panic, and not manufactured urgency. We do not trade away our freedoms, our privacy, and our constitutional protections for vague promises of security. I will object to this bill today, but I am open to talking with the authors of this bill about how we could have enhanced ability to interrupt drone activity, but done while protecting all Americans' constitutional right to privacy. Madam President, I object.
Okay, that's great, right? Everybody happy with that? Who's happy with that? Everybody happy with that? Everybody happy? Everybody happy by that? Bullshit. Caca del torro. Mierda. Absolute nonsense. Here's the problem. This is the issue. It is right now, how many days, how many weeks, how many months, I don't really know, when the drone thing came about. And here's what he has to say. Hello, everyone. I'm Senator Rand Paul. And I want you to know something. If we have swarms of drones, followed by swarms of orbs, swarms of Chinese water balloons, weather balloons, UAPs, UAVs, EBEs, UFOs, flying saucers, cigars, Tic Tacs, gimbals, whatever it is, we are going to tell you that we won't know anything. We don't know anything. The best we have, the best, is maybe Rand Paul saying, I object to a piece of legislation that would allow the federal government to collect data all over the country regarding airport travel and the like. If there is a drone or something and then we're going to collect your data. Do you think that you need legislation to collect this? Do you think that your information is not already being collected in some huge metadata vat? Do you know what? You know what? Do you understand this? This is the most important thing in the world. This is what I want you to understand. They are telling you. We don't know anything. We haven't answered a thing. So I, Rand Paul, Stephen Greer, Neil deGrasse Tyson, any of your favorite TV shows, we're telling you that we have just concluded the following. This was a test to see what will you do if all of a sudden there are swarms, and the answer is nothing. The Senate will do nothing. The Congress will do nothing. FAA, Biden, nobody. Trump said maybe shoot them down or something like that. Even with thoughts about nuclear materials that are removed or missing or whatever it is, nothing happens. So let me tell you something. Let me repeat. The reason for this, what I have gleaned from this, is that nothing will happen. If one day you see an actual flying saucer, a craft identifiable as a flying saucer, we're not going to tell you anything because we've already habituated, already conditioned, already taught you that we don't do anything. Stephen Greer will come forward. Elizondo will come forward, maybe. Maybe Pope from the UK. This fellow, what's his name, from Australia, and they'll come forward, and then everybody will say, "I have high-tech information, inside sources. This is a psychological." The bottom line is nobody knows anything. Have you ever seen a flying saucer? Anybody? They're not talking about this. Democrats have no interest in this whatsoever. Ever. Do you understand this? Let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen this? Anybody ever seen it? I've never seen one. I've never seen anything that I don't know. I'm talking about an actual identifiable craft, not an orb. Orbs, I don't know. If I saw it, I don't know. I didn't recognize it. We see stars in the sky, and we live in New York and we're high up, and we see things like, there's LaGuardia here and Kennedy there, and there's Newark there. We see planes, but I've never seen an actual craft. The Phoenix Lights, remember Governor Fife Symington in, 80, 90, whatever the hell the year. You can look it up. There was a craft that they said was about roughly a mile wide. And it was so large, it hovered over. This is the governor of the state of Arizona, who himself was a fighter pilot. And he saw this thing. It basically blocked out the sky. Hundreds of people saw this. Hundreds of people saw this. And they all testified. The phones, they rang, they picked up the phone. What is this thing? It freaked people out. Just hovered, floated, no noise, no nothing. It blocked out everything. Okay. It was one of the most incredible sights ever. Everybody's standing there. They're all saying this. Now, here is the question. You might ask, where are the pictures? Next question. Have you looked for pictures? Do you know, what do they look like, these pictures? What do they look like? What are we supposed to be looking for? Crypto says, when in Kentucky, Dr. Paul can't take 10 seconds off Greer. Thank you for that. Bob Hunter says, Lionel, can you sing me a song before they take me away to the gulag? He who is brave is free. Seneca, thank you. Pilgrim says, I was stationed in New Mexico. I've seen UFOs, not crazy. Now, I don't know what that means. I've seen UFOs. When Crypto says, when my Bible teacher was born, there was a power outage in New York City, and there was a photograph of a UFO. Right now, spend any amount of time you want. Use a browser, something other than Google or whatever it is, and go and look and see for yourself. Because people will say, where are the photos of this? Have you looked for the photos? No, I've never even heard of this. So why are you asking, where are the photos? I don't know. I'm a contrarian. Do you know how many pictures of actual flying saucers and things? People don't believe them. There are pictures of this. You understand what I'm saying? Nelson says, keep warm, Mr. and Mrs. L. Party City gone. Who's next? Mrs. L is sitting Shiva over at Party City. She is beside herself. She can't move. By the way, you should put a copy of that photo up for a TikTok video. Okay, fine. So let me go through this again. Listen, follow me. This is tough. People said, I've seen a UFO. What does that mean? Do not call it a UFO. I don't know what a UFO means. I saw a ship. I saw a flying saucer. I saw a hubcap design. I saw an orb. I saw a ship. I saw a triangular. There are these different styles. There are people who have categorized them. You can't say, I've seen a UFO. What does that mean? Well, it's a flying object that I'm not sure exactly what it is. Okay? So here is the question that I ask, which is the most important. That's number one. Number two, if they showed you it, you wouldn't do anything about it. You wouldn't care. This is what I want to tell Senator Paul and others. Americans don't care about this. They don't. I'm not trying to be rude. They don't care anything about this. It means nothing. Yeah, flying saucer. Rendlesham Forest, Phoenix Lights. Rendlesham Forest is still one of the most incredible. Cometa Report. Just go through. I'll tell you one thing that Greer did. He put some terrific presentations on the press club where Iranian pilots and people would talk about and actually detail what they saw very specifically, how, and you can see pictures of orbs, and they have stuff flying around. They have stuff flying around in the world that is so huge and of such enormity, you can't believe it. There were pictures from, dare I say, from, I don't know what the word is, from outer space, I guess you might want to say, that showed craft that was beyond, they were trying to guess how big this was. If you spend any amount of time, you can see these, you can see, instead of when, I know this is a calculator, but if craft normally fly this way on Earth, in space they fly this way. That you can see sometimes wobbling of the craft near the Earth, which might be explained. I think Stanton Friedman did it as well. There is so much information other than these critters getting out and talking to you. John Mack, Harvard psychiatrist, conducted countless hypnotic sessions with individuals that he believed, not all, but he believed some actually were abducted. Betty and Barney Hill. It goes through. There's so much data, and yet we're still talking about it like it's not really there. And they ask questions. Why don't they land? What I'm trying to tell you is America doesn't care one way or another. It doesn't matter. This is the most important thing in the world. America doesn't care. Our good friend, kindness is free, but I love hillbillies. Thank you, Bob. Don't know what that means. And Crypto says, meant to text 10 seconds of Greer, can't find it. I don't want to text 10 seconds of Greer. Greer has done, I think, a lot of, in many respects, a tremendous disservice by this nonsense, this crazy talk that is just, I have it from information and I've been told by people. First, if you're being told information from highly placed sources, the first thing you're going to be heard is you're going to be called the next day by the highly placed services to say, don't you ever do this again. What you are saying goes back to me. What I told you, only I know about. What are you doing to me? You never hear somebody say, now listen, a highly placed source told me and wanted me to tell you. No, they never say that. Do you know how you are risking not only the life, but the security clearance and the future of somebody? If you give out information that somebody says, wait a minute, did you do this? That's Jerry. Jerry knew that. He's talking. Do you ever think about that? I think most of the time when people say, I've got a source, it's bullshit. There's no source. Pilgrim says, Lionel, I was stationed at RAF Alconbury, UK, when the Rendlesham Forest incident happened. I didn't hear about it until about 10 years ago. You can hear the actual, is a lieutenant colonel or whatever, with his tape recorder as it happened. He's explaining what he saw. He had a Geiger counter the next day. He had people around him. He was guarding, think about this, a nuclear site. The government trusted him to run a nuclear. They had weapons with nuclear equipped arsenals. And our government trusted him. You think he's crazy? Crypto says, I'm saying I can't take 10 seconds of it. Okay, I can't. Thank you. I know Greer is into this stuff about they come in peace and all this nonsense. I don't think for a moment anybody comes in peace. I don't know where any of this comes from. I am absolutely positively, I would have the worst show on any TV if I said, let me give you the truth about UFOs. We don't have any visuals that you would find interesting. They showed the Tic Tac flying at or around the speed of sound and going like this. Nobody cares. The Tic Tac, the gimbal. Do you know that there are pictures? There are pictures of these these saucers that were taken on Polaroid kind of regular film, and you can't Photoshop them with crystal clear clarity. Do you remember Jesse Marcel, Roswell, the balloon, all of this stuff? Have you heard this story? Do you know who Jesse Marcel is? You know who his son is? People, they come along. They're like drive-by viewers. They know none of this. But they think they're in possession enough of the facts of the case to render an opinion one way or another. They've never looked at the studied it. They know no names, no incidents, what we heard, what they heard. But either way, I'm telling you, the bottom line is this. Your government is saying we don't have any information. Now, let me stop right here, my friends. I want you to listen and listen thusly. As we speak, there is a deal. I don't want to do this again. What did we hear again about Amazon? The strike is still going. Amazon strike is going, and it's getting bigger. It's not going away, my friend. And don't forget, January 15th, don't forget the dock worker strike. Preparewithlionel.com. Emergency food, generators, water purification, crank radios, and AM, FM weather, self-charging, actual radios with a crank. I mean, solar operated. They're going to pull something. You don't need Rand Paul to tell you whatever the hell it was that he told you. It's that simple. This is serious business. Dear friends, I am telling you. I hate people who scream and yell just because something's happening. Because sources have told me. There's no sources who told you anything. I'm telling you what's happening right now. Number one, Amazon strike. Number two, they said January 15th, they were going to continue the dock strike, which they merely postponed. Number three, we had drones and they're planning something at or near the time of the inauguration. Preparewithlionel.com, act now. And while we're at it, mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. Our dear friend, remember, I want you to go there right now, Mike Lindell, who is absolutely the greatest. Mike Lindell, mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. Let me try this again. I'm going to try this one more time and see if I can maybe, because I don't think I'm getting the point across. Senator Paul, do you know what these things are? We know they're drones. We're not thinking they're outer space. They don't have the red. Do you know what they are? Yes or no? No. You're a United States Senator. You're in charge. You have the investigatory capacity of nobody's business. Are you still telling me you don't know what's going on? But you're objecting to a bill that is being introduced that would allow the government to collate, collect, absorb, dragnet, if you will, information that is, I guess, part of this. What would you call this? Information that is part of what? I just want to make sure I understand what's going on. I want to really make sure I understand what's going on. Let me say this again. After all these weeks, this is what I would have heard. Thank you very much. Somebody for the Pentagon. We have captured 10 of these things. Here they are. And you're at this is what they are. This is what they look like. This drone was seen over Tenafly, New Jersey. This drone was seen over here. And we have looked at them, and these are what appears. These are American made. They're made by this guy. I think they mentioned the name of a Chinese company or whatever it is. This is what was made. They're not armed. We find out who they are, where they were. They were manufactured by the Xinhua company. They have a battery life of 4 hours. We originated them. We've done surveillance. This is what happens. Last night, our satellites have tracked approximately 50 to 60 between 7 p.m. This is what you want to know. Information. They're not able to tell you anything. And in the event an actual freaking flying saucer hovers over Weehawken, they're not going to tell you anything. And China's going to be saying, they don't know anything? They don't know anything? They don't know anything. Bob Hunter, ladies and gentlemen, says, I'm a free man. You cannot brainwash me. Sorry, dude. I'm a free man, and your brainwashing bullshit doesn't work on me, sadly, for your congratulations. One of the common misspellings of congratulations. I have no idea what this means, but thank you. No idea what this means. No idea. No idea what this means. I swear to God. I think sometimes some of the messages are alien. What does this mean? I don't know. Now, there is this wonderful idea that somehow, this is important, since I've been studying this for, oh my God, forever. I have come to the conclusion that there is more evidence of this than many religious claims. I don't want to get into that one. But since that time, you have these people like Mr. Greer, Dr. Greer, who have this idea that they come in peace. That after 1947, these folks came about. They were going to land. They were going to be a part of our life because they wanted to send us a message. They were worried with all of our nuclear bombs and nuclear attacks and they were afraid. They wanted to send them a message. Oh, stop this, Earth brothers and sisters. Stop this. Don't do this anymore. Please. Please, let's live in peace. And they're benevolent and beneficent. And there were stories about how some of them actually turned off nuclear warheads, nuclear weaponry, and the like. So this fiction, this beautiful narrative, this trope, this meme, this story that Greer and others said, they're here to come in peace. They want to coexist. I was talking recently with somebody and I said, do you think, I said, this is the most important thing in the world. Let me ask you. I said, do you believe that there are these drones, these things, or these, let's say, UFOs or aliens, or whatever you call them, that are existing here? Or do you think they get up in the morning, they fly on over, they kind of do their surveillance, and they go back? Are they here? Or are there robots or drones or proxies that are sent out that can also change shape and color and can be in the visible spectrum and maybe not? One moment you see it, one moment you don't. Do you know? I think people still have this idea that the planets, and I think I've heard people like Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's a complete hack when it comes to this. They have this idea that says something to the effect of they are from, how do I say this? Light years, many light years away. And then in order for them to travel here, they have to travel at or near the speed of light. And it's almost like they don't live here. And I realize we are never going to get to the bottom of this. So that's kind of where we are with this one. It's that simple. Now, going back to the original issue of this. This president, I hope to God, through Elon and Vivek and everybody else, has this idea that this is going to be one for the books. Why is that? They're going to have to destroy him. Oh, I mentioned recently, I said I would not be surprised if there was a complete and total disruption, of the inauguration. Complete and total disruption. And somebody said, well, he's probably going to be just in some kind of bubble. I said, no, I don't think anybody's going to be there. Because people are going to say, I don't want to be there. I'm hearing these scary things, and there's some alert, and there's this notion of fear and standing in place. Do you believe Bob Lazar? Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I really do. I think Bob Lazar was spot on. His stories were too consistent. He had no reason to. Yeah, I really do. And for reasons that I can't necessarily just give you my opinion as to that. Bob Hunter says, no man was ever wise by chance. Thank you. And a wet bird never flies at night. Thank you, Bob. And I appreciate that immensely. I appreciate it because that's what we need. That's what we need. Clarity, limpidity, and pellucidity. So in any event, get ready, my friends. You can watch all the TV you want, but I want them to, I hope there is this real serious ninja force standing by ready to act immediately. Because I'm telling you, I'm going to say this now, we are in store for some very, very serious problems. Okay? You got that? All right. Okay, dear friends, I thank you so much for being a part of us. It's been a rough and tumble night tonight. Your thoughts and comments and generosity, Bob Hunter and Pilgrim and let me see, and Crypto, thank you so much for your, like this, DC on X says, follow Ashton Forbes. I don't know who that is, but thank you. We will drop everything that we're doing and follow Ashton Forbes and Ashton Kutcher and Ashton ye shall receive. And let me see who else is here. That's it. Thank you for this immensely. By the way, just got a brand new email from the great Dane Wigington. Oh, Johnny Maz the Spaz says, Americans have a very short memory about a lot of things. December 21st, 1988, Pan Am Flight 103 blew up over Lockerbie, Scotland. Not a mention in the news. Johnny, who do you think did that? Who do you think did that? Thank you, Stephen Lynch. Appreciate that very much. Johnny Maz, aside from that, Johnny, who do you think was responsible for Lockerbie? Anybody? Who blew up Lockerbie? Come on. Who likes it? Who? Tom Harn, CIA. Nope. Who did it? Who did it? USA. Nope. Aliens. Nope. CIA. Nope. Come on, who did it? You don't want us to forget it. Okay, we're not going to forget it. Who did it? UK. Nope. Keep going. Running out of time. You have no idea who I am, and I know you don't. Very good. Bob Hunter, thank you. Thank you very much, Bob. Appreciate it. Gaddafi? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Come on, who did it? It wasn't Lebanon. That's true. Not Libya. Correct. Not Gaddafi. Al-Qaeda. Nope. Islamists. No. A little vague. Come on. Lockerbie was Libyan. Absolutely not. He took the fall for that. Crypto said, Uncle L, what do you believe to be the fact of the... I like that question. Who did it? FBI? Nope. Ireland? Nope. Irish Republican Army? Nope. Come on. Not Israel? Nope. Absolutely not. Who did it? MI6? Nope. Nope. Superman? No, come on. Now you want us not to forget it. Has anybody ever studied this? Nope. Have you ever looked into it? It's very, very simple. The story is fantastic. Remember how they found the person who did this supposedly? Remember this? How they had the bomb wrapped in a shirt, or a shirt that was wrapped around it. And they found the remnants of that shirt on the ground. I don't know how many thousands of feet. And they looked at this and they loved, no, Bob Hunter, nope, not the blob. No, sir, not at all. Crypto says aerial things since before world wars. Nope. I mean, yes, there are. Nope. Human error? No. Pablo Escobar? No. This is incredible. Lockerbie. Come on. Anybody? Okay, let's try this. Here is a. You want to hear this story? Anybody interested? You don't have to. But it's so funny. Somebody said, "Hey, don't forget Lockerbie." Okay, who did it? I don't know. Well, I don't want to forget. Well, I'm not gonna forget. Well, who did it? I don't know. Well, don't you want to remember it? Yeah, I want to remember it, but I don't know who did it. Really? I don't know who did it. Okay, well, let's think about this. There was a documentary years ago that claims to have uncovered evidence that not Libya, but Iran ordered the bombing of Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie in December of 1988. What was that? This was a very interesting Al Jazeera documentary, and it suggested that a Palestinian terrorist group retaliated to an American warship shooting down an Iranian civil airliner. Remember this? The only person convicted of the bombing was Libyan intelligence agent Abdelbasit al-Megrahi, who died in 2012. A total of 270 people died when the plane exploded over southern Scotland. Now, the documentary quotes a former senior Iranian intelligence official, Abdulgasem Meshbahi, as saying, quote, Iran decided to retaliate as soon as possible. The decision was made by the whole system in Iran and confirmed by Ayatollah Khomeini. 5 months before the Lockerbie bombing, Iran Air Flight 655, 5 months before, had been shot down by the USS Vincennes, with the deaths of all 290 people on board. The U.S. government, us, claimed its Navy had mistaken the civilian Airbus A300 for an attacking fighter jet. Not good. Tehran vowed that the skies would rain with the blood in revenge. So, according to Mr. Mezbahi, the target of the Iranian decision makers was to copy exactly what's happened to the Iranian Airbus. Everything exactly the same. Minimum 290 people dead. So, this is interesting. Al Jazeera claimed to have seen U.S. Defense Intel Agency cables, which reported that the leader of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine General Command, Ahmed Jabril, had been paid to plan the bombing. It quotes a classified cable as saying that money was given to Jabril up front in Damascus for the initial expense. The mission was to blow up a Pan Am flight. So the investigation quoted, in this documentary as well, quoted a former CIA agent, Robert Baer, as saying, 6 days after taking down the Airbus, there was a meeting in Beirut. We know where it occurred. The Iranians went to the PFLPGC, the break-off faction, and said, All right, you guys, you know how to bring down airplanes. Bring down five civilian airliners. So McGrahy's family still hoped to lodge a fresh appeal. And what happened was, later on, it was suggested, and I don't want to get too much into this, but they made a deal. They told, Libya said, listen, you take the hint, because we at that time did not want any problems with Iran. Period. We didn't want a problem. So Gaddafi said, okay, I'll do it. I'll take it. So they set this poor bastard up. I forget how they did it. I think later on he died of prostate cancer. They let him out of prison for some kind of a humanitarian deal. But the story was the most ridiculous ever. That he supposedly they went and they gave somebody like this little piece of cloth, and they went to this haberdasher, the store in wherever hell it was. And he says, do you recognize this? He goes, yes, I do. This is from our store. And would you know the person who bought this shirt? Yes, we do. It's this guy. And he wrapped the bomb apparently with this, and that's the story. And he put it on the plane, and then he left. Anyway, so Gaddafi takes the heat because all he wanted to do was sell oil and make movies. He was out of the business. He said, okay, we'll give you our guy. But they didn't want to blame Iran because we screwed up and we didn't want to double the problem. And it's one of those stories that just went nowhere. And there's so many great investigations that were happening concomitantly. It was beautiful. It was so interesting. But nobody cares. This is the most important thing in the world. It's absolutely, it's fantastic. Crypto says, I'm talking to a separate question. What do you believe to be the fact of the aerial things prior to world wars? I could guess. The same thing after the world wars. I still love my brothers and sisters from around the globe. Thank you, Bob Hunter. We can now sleep better knowing that, sir. I thank you. Didn't know that. Thank you, Johnny Mass says. Oh, yes. You see, anything that you want to know, I promise you, most of it has already been documented. They've already talked about it 1,000,000 times. But here's what's amazing about Americans in particular. They don't lift a finger. Don't forget, new mugs. Look at that. Look at that punum, huh? Right there, my friends. Right there in the bottom of it. Nobody looks. It's the weirdest thing. Gee, I wonder what happened. Did you look it up? No. Did you look it up? No. I just... That's why you need me. And the thing is that I will be completely satisfied with the idea that I don't know necessarily the answer, but I do know the questions. All right, dear friends, thank you. Thank you for your interest. Thank you for your focus. Thank you for being here tonight. I appreciate it immensely. So mightily kind of you. Have a great and a glorious night. We are freezing our cojones off. 24, well, it's actually the wind chill, and being near the river is like, oh my God, you turn the corner and it just goes right to you. And those sidewalks with the black ice. I remember when I first heard of the word black ice, I said, what is that, malt liquor? I don't know, but it was like, whoa, one wrong move and you got to walk up and down because you're ready to slide. It's brutal. Absolutely brutal. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. Don't ever change. Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas from Mrs. L to you and yours. Follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. Don't forget to make sure you are subscribed to Lionel Nation and also Lionel Legal. And also, I put a link there for the newsletter. Plenty of great stuff coming up. Have a great and a glorious day, my friend. Remember, always ask questions and research. Until we may meet again, this is your new best friend, Lionel, reminding you the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Tete.